everybody needs a support animal, ninjas just need a different kind of support animal. Along with various ninjutsu, taijutsus, and tools, a ninja has at their disposal. Sometimes what they really need is immediate backup when the rest of your squad is either out of the fight or too far away. Sometimes a toad will do just fine. Through Naruto and Shippuden, we have seen a variety of animal summons. From insightful toad sages to powerful giant snakes, we're looking at some of the most powerful animal summons in the Naruto franchise. Hawks are often used to deliver messages and provide aerial reconnaissance for their shinobi. This is vital for sure, but sometimes you want something that flies and can assist in combat. Sasuke has this covered with his personal summon animal, Garuda, the giant hawk of all the shinobi. To have an assist animal, the loner Sasuke would be the last person on this list, right? Well, despite his lone wolf attitude, Sasuke formed a contract with this giant bird, and he seems pretty loyal to him in return. While used sparingly, the hawk has gotten Sasuke out of some jams. He saved him from falling off the samurai bridge during his fight with Danzo. One of his greatest moments arguably came from the anime. During this same fight, Hawk uses one of his claws to direct one of Danzo's wind-enhanced shuriken back at him, severing his arm clean off. In the manga, Sasuke accomplishes this with his sword of Tsunade. We would see this hawk later when he saved Sasuke and Naruto from falling into a river of lava. This big hawk starts off this list, but already he's proven to be a dependable and strong animal summon. In the original Naruto, there was one big bad snake, Manda, who served Orochimaru. And after Manda had fallen, there was another that pledged his loyalty to Sasuke and his kin, Aoda. Unlike Manda, Aoda is much less aggro and more mild-mannered. He's a loyal snake with a high respect for his summoner. So much so that he extends the same respect to anyone in Sasuke's family. We see this in Boruto, the next generation, when Aoda protects Sarada Uchiha from Garuda's attacks. This was during the disappearance arc. When Boruto and the rest of Team 10 went into the Ryuchi cave, Aoda is much more than a loyal danger noodle. During the 4th Shinobi World War, Sasuke summons Aoda to help them get through the Ten Tails army, which Aoda did with ease. Like Manda, meta is extremely strong. He's able to crush and throw an army of Ten Tails clone all by himself. Aoda's size and speed were called upon when Sasuke was fighting Nawaki in the novel Sasuke Shinden Book of Sunrises. In this fight, Aoda crashes through Nagaki's typhoon release so Sasuke could get to him. Snake summons have come a long way from Manda, but Aoda has proven that not all snakes are bad. Next up is Ibuse, the slimy salamander, and Hanzo's personal summon. While the summons we've previously talked about have been utility animals that assist their masters in niche situations, Ibuse bit more involved with Hanzo's fighting style. Ibuse's signature trait is its poison mist. He's able to expel a large cloud of this poison, where the target's whole body can become numb. On contact, this poison can be fatal if the proper antidote is not given in time. While it is a large and devastating attack, Ibuse can produce this gas indefinitely. It has to be stored in his body for about 5 minutes before he's able to let out another burst. It may sound simple, but this tag team was powerful enough to take on the 3 Sennin. Back in the day, Ibuse has also been used when Hanzo was fighting Shio as well. While the poison builds inside his stomach, Ibuse is able to burrow underground and resurface to swallow Hanzo's enemies. There they would succumb to the effects of his poison. Most summoned animals can be recalled before they take serious damage. However, they can die. It is assumed that Ibuse died when he attempted to swallow Mifune, general to the Land of Iron. Mifune was swallowed, but he cut his way out of Ibuse's head before the poison could kill him, presumably killing the salamander. Most of the animals that are summoned via a summoning jutsu are recognizable animals. We've seen snakes, salamanders, hawks, real animals. This, I don't know what this even is. Well, this tiger, elephant, dog thing is Baku, the personal summon of Danzo. Baku is an elephant chimera who, in addition to being hard to look at, is also huge. This thing is large enough to dwarf Sasuke's Susanoo technique. So what does this abomination actually do? Well, according to Toby, the Baku is said to devour dreams and nightmares. This is also in reference to the actual Baku, which is a creature from Japanese mythology. Now Japanese Baku were not depicted like this, but in the anime Baku was able to inhale and suck in everything within an area. When he was alive, Danzo would use Baku suction in combination with his own wind release powers to amplify his own power. Together they were able to immobilize Sasuke's Susanoo technique and even get through its defenses. Since Danzo's death, no one has summoned this beast. Personally, I'd like to keep it that way. Let's stick to real animals for the rest of this list. Monkeys. Now I can handle monkeys. Monkey King Enma is the personal summon to Hiruzen, the third Hokage. Based on his appearance and his abilities, it's no surprise that Monkey King Enma is a reference to Sun Wukong, the Monkey King from the famous tale Journey to the Westwild. He may not be the first one in this list with the ability to speak. Enma is the first summon on this list who is capable of performing his own jutsus during his fight against Orochimaru with Hiruzen. He was able to use the Transform Self Adamantine Staff to transform himself into a bow staff that can extend and harden to adamantine. While in staff form, Enma's body parts like his eyes or arms can come out of the staff. Additionally, he's not bound to just be an inanimate object while he is a staff. Enma can return to Hiruzen if need be. Enma makes clone staffs of himself to form a wall that is strong enough to withstand Hashirama's wood prison jutsu. Enma is a very powerful summon even without the use of jutsus. He's able to dish out some serious hand-to-hand monkey business against the reincarnated leaders of the Leaf Village. This next one is pretty special, because this summon belongs to the hyperactive knucklehead ninja himself, Naruto. Gamakichi is part of the Toad family of summons, and is the eldest son to Gamabunta. When Naruto first summons Gamakichi, he is pretty small and not very useful. He mirrors Naruto's personality in that he is kind of a clown, always quick with a joke, and not too keen on being helpful. Of course, with time comes maturity. Just like Naruto, Gamakichi would grow in size and power. During the Fourth Shinobi War, Gamakichi took after his father in a number of ways, the most obvious of which is that he grew to nearly his father's size. Also, like Gamabunta, his son wields a tanto, and it has developed his own jutsus. The most unique technique he has is the reverse summoning jutsu, which he uses to bring Naruto to Mount Nubuki. Gamakichi has a few extra powers that were exclusive to the anime. While in the manga, he uses water release techniques in the anime. He was shown to use the flame bullet jutsu. Gamakichi is an interesting summon because he shows a lot of personality and growth, something we rarely see in a summon. I'm beginning to see a pattern with most of these summons. They're either slimy, scaly, or both. Case in point our number. Fourth spot goes to Katsuyu. A giant slimy slug, Katsuyu is the personal summon of Lady Tsunade. Though later on in Shippuden Sakura could also summon her, now Katsuyu's personality is the opposite of her summoners. Where Lady Tsunade is a strong-type personality who takes charge, Katsuyu is much more servile. Don't underestimate her, just because she's more subservient than summons like Gamabunta and Manda. This giant slug is number 4 for a reason. She has two distinct abilities, the first of which is her tongue-tooth sticky acid. Ignoring the obvious question of what a tongue tooth is, this acid is particularly potent. It has the ability to melt rocks and harden scales. The second ability is its Great Slug Division, where Katsuyu can divide herself into hundreds of little versions of herself that can move independently, as well as reform the original giant slug. While separated, she can act as a conduit for her summon to channel chakra to injured people, healing them. Of the 3 Senin summons, Katsuyu has the most uses outside of combat. The number 3 spot is shared by 2 great yet small toads, Shima and Fukasaku. Collectively, they are the 2 great sage toads on Mount Nubuku. They rank just below the great toad sage. Together they train Jiraiya and in turn train Naruto in the ways of Genjutsu, and entering sage mode for both Jiraiya and Naruto. Both toads fuse to their shoulders and supply them with the natural energy needed in order to transform. Now, unlike Gamabunta and Gamakichi, the great toad sages are not large sword-wielding warriors. But that doesn't mean they don't have power. To the contrary, the two are very well versed in a variety of jutsus. Shima and Fukasaku combine their efforts to create powerful jutsus like the demonic illusion and toad confrontation chant. When the two join their voices, anyone who hears the chant is paralyzed. While they're more powerful together, they have their specialty separated. For example, Shima has specialties in fire and wind release jutsus, while Fukasaku has water and wind release jutsus. Don't take their symmetry as a sign of complete cooperation. The two can bicker and fight like an old married couple. I mean, it makes sense, since they are literally an old married couple. He's been mentioned enough times on this list. Well, we might as well talk about Big Daddy Toad Gamabunta. Often referred to as just Bunta, he is the chief toad on Mount Nubaku. This grump giant toad has been summoned by several shinobis, including Minato, Jiraiya, and of course Naruto. Bunta has fought in a lot of important battles during the course of the Leaf Village history. Bunta fought alongside Minato against the nine-tailed fox during Tobi's invasion. He also took part in the Second Shinobi World War with Jiraiya. Of course, the most well-known battle he fought in was when Naruto summoned him to fight Shukaku. There we see a lot of Bunta's techniques and fighting strength. He is proficient with a Tanto and is able to use the Toad Oil Fire Bullet and Water Bullet Jutsus. Jiraiya would call upon the Great Toad Chief once again when they had to search for Tsunade in a standoff. Bunta fought with Katsuyu against Manda and Orochimaru. It seems that whenever there is a village-ending disaster or a big battle that requires more firepower, Bunta answers the call. He played a part during Pain's invasion of the Leaf Village as well as the climax of the Fourth Shinobi World War. He is the most powerful toad summon bar none. You gotta give it up to the chief. Last but certainly not least, we have the big bad snake Manda, formerly the big boss of Ryuchi Cave. Manda was the personal summon of Orochimaru. He would later be summoned by Sasuke in his final moments. Much like his master, Manda is very condescending. He believes he is superior to all others. Of course, this snake is no pushover. Manda is very dangerous and has a lot of power to back up his boasts. Even against Bunta and Katsuyu, Manda was able to hold his own and nearly killed them both. Despite his size, he is very fast. He was able to dodge Katsuyu's acid and even restrict her. If it wasn't for her division ability, Manda would have crushed her. Even when he was set ablaze by Bunta's oil fire, he was able to shed his skin and escape unharmed. Despite his awesome power, Manda is not immortal. As we mentioned earlier, Sasuke was able to summon Manda in order to save himself from Daidra's ultimate attack. Sasuke avoided certain death by leaping into Manda and having the Great Serpent take the brunt of the blast. With his final words, he cursed Sasuke, an almost ironic end for someone who thought so highly of themselves. And those are the strongest summons in Naruto. Before we end the video, we'll leave you with one last bite-sized fact about summoning in Naruto. The name of the summoning technique is Kuchiyoshi no Jutsu. Kuchiyoshi refers to the practice of allowing spirits to possess your body and speak through it. Creepy.